think that these little tournaments like Tri-Nations are really good. I've played in many of them. I've coached in many of them. To what to play these days. But I do honestly believe, I think it's a great learning experience when you come up against, you have to accept that you're going to come up against good teams, good players. A lot further down the road in terms of their development. I mean, you only have to look around. We don't have the facilities other teams have. Hopefully one day we will, and I don't want that to come across in a negative aspect. That's just being realistic, and we have to be positive about it. Sometimes you've got to be thankful for small mercies, and I do honestly believe that moving forwards, every day is a learning curve. More trips, more sort of camps, such as like KPZ where we went, which was great. Okay, there's things which we could always do better. But I think you've got to be realistic and say, we are where we are. We've come a long way in like 18 months. Can we go further? Of course we can.
এক্সট্রিম মশার কয়েল প্ল্যান্ট ফাইবার দিয়ে তৈরি, তাই সহজে ভাঙে না, সুগন্ধিযুক্ত ও নিরবিচ্ছিন্নভাবে জ্বলে। ডেঙ্গু, চিকুনগুনিয়া বাহি সহ যে কোনো মশার বিরুদ্ধে দেয় এক্সট্রিম সুরক্ষা।
Players have a responsibility. I think the game's evolving here in terms of actual. Now you've got a SAF championship, club championship, which has just come on stream. We don't have a league. I think that's so important to the development of the game here. Hopefully, with our next objective, or what my main sort of goal would be to try and get the girls, create a platform for them to move forwards and actually get opportunities to go and play outside the country. Not Bhutan, and I'm not being disrespectful about Bhutan. We're there, which is crazy. We're a lot ahead of them in terms of our technical side of things from a football perspective. They're streets ahead of us in terms of facilities. Now, I think we have to be realistic and say to ourselves, what direction do we want to go in? Do you plow everything into the men's game? You need to find that balance. And the balance is, to me, is that it's the girls that are bringing sort of good performances, solid performances, creating a pipeline. We've got more youngsters coming through playing in the senior national team women's than we do in the men's, which I think is wrong, fundamentally wrong. And I sit here and I say that hand on heart. But hopefully the men's will bear, they'll bear fruition, and they'll start getting more young players coming into the senior national team. That has been one of my objectives, is to actually get more young girls playing football in the senior national team. And by doing that, that can only be the right way to go, going down the road of actually trying to improve your national team performances, ultimately then results. I don't have knee-jerk decisions. The objective was to qualify for Asian Cup. We achieved that. The objective was to actually put in solid performances against teams such as Jordan away and the UAE, and we did that with a young squad, a really sort of threadbare squad as well. I don't work. I have a pathway. I have a goal in mind. I don't work on ad hoc, knee-jerk decisions because you've conceded a few goals. You're going to concede goals when you play against tougher opposition. We're not at the level of Thailand. We're not at the level of South Korea. These teams are finely tuned, well-oiled, well-financed. So I would never make excuses. Obviously, I've looked at it, and I've looked at the video, and I've dissected it, and I've thought where we could have done better. Could we maybe dropped a little bit deeper? Could we be a little bit higher at times? Could we get tighter to people? The whole emphasis and the theme of the sessions is all been about man to man, taking responsibility, being accountable for your actions, and we've addressed that in a constructive and a positive manner. So we're going to make mistakes. We're human beings. We all make mistakes. It's a learning curve, especially for these young girls. The thing is you got to have a sound structure in and out of possession. I think the most important. I didn't have the girls for long, but that's no excuse. I mean, we are where we are. We're Bangladesh. We don't have a league. The girls, I think, have done fantastically well. They've done really, really well. Senior national team girls, juniors, even the girls 17s. It was a great learning experience for them as well. So I think every day is a learning day, and it's like old school, new school. It's a learning school, and we have to. If we want to move forwards, we have to adopt that mindset about wanting to come in, learn something new every day, 0.5%, 0.25%, 1%. I believe in marginal gains. Marginal gains don't come in big increments of 10, 20% improvement in performance. You're not going to get that. I live in the real world, not La La Land. But I do honestly want the girls to continue to learn, because the day we stop learning, the day we think we know it all, we're done, we're finished. So these girls, whilst I'm here, whether I'm here short term or long term is irrespective, I'll continue going down the right road. To answer your second question, what did we learn? Learn a great deal. Is that if you're not fit, if you basically you don't eat the right foods, if you don't prepare yourselves correctly, you're going to come up short. And we came up short because we didn't have the time. We had 9 girls came in from Bhutan, who've come from a different league. They were coming to the end of their league. The fitness levels in Bhutan is completely different to the fitness levels that what we hoped and aspire to get to. Now we've had 20 days to address that. Could take 3 months, could take 6 months, but I do honestly believe we're on the right pathway. The girls have really improved the numbers. We've got GPS now, which was good of the BFF to provide, and I think it's a real good coaching tool to actually assess and go back and evaluate your times in terms of high-speed distances and the mileage you're covering in games and training. So we monitor it every single day. Unfortunately, we don't have one, so we've got to rely on bordering countries like Bhutan. Thank you to them for their hospitality, the Young One group, who were very accommodating and run things in a really professional manner, which is great, and it rubs off on the girls as well. I do honestly believe the last 22 days are not going to chart the destiny for where we are in the next 2 years or the next 2 games. The most important thing is that we've embarked on a program where we had 54 players, a mixture of under 17s, 20s, and senior national team girls, and they worked extremely well. It was a great sort of learning experience for those girls. We've now sort of taken it onto another level. We've got Cameron Lord with us, who's a vastly experienced strength and conditioning coach from Perth, West Australia. He comes highly recommended. He's done some over the last. He joined us in Thailand at the last minute and sort of acclimatised to the situation and how we work. And I really feel it'll be a massive addition to the group, to Bangladesh football, if he survives. But I do strongly believe that we're on the right road. The sort of the pathway that we're on at this present time with the young girls is a really positive one. And I think most importantly, I think what you've got to understand and realise is that there's going to be many, many speed bumps down the road. The girls are going to have some tough times. They're going to have some difficult times. And as we all know, sometimes in life, sometimes it's the tough times where you learn and you gain that experience. And it's it's a massive learning curve for these girls. Don't want peaks and troughs. Just want a continuous, hopefully harmonious pathway down the road. But it never works like that in football because it's very volatile and very ad hoc sometimes. But we're really looking forward to these 2 games coming up and the preparation in the near future, pre-Christmas and post-Christmas. Got a young squad. Got 11 girls from the mixture of 17s, 20s senior national team. A lot of you know have been in the senior national team, like Monkey, Afeda, Shapner, Joy Nob, etc. However, what I would turn around and say is what we've tried to do is try to create that competitive theme right through the group, rather than copy and paste, people picking themselves. We don't operate like that anymore. And I've asked everybody, not only myself, but my team members, my technical team members, the players, to everybody try and raise the bar, raise their performance. If they can raise their performance like 1%, 2%, it's a step in the right road, it's a step in the right direction. So not only am I demanding off the youngsters, I'm also demanding from people around me. And everybody, even people within the BFF, have to up the game. Because now we're trying to compete on a different level, which is AFC level, which is very different. And you're coming up against tougher opposition, as we found out when we played Thailand, where we were beaten and well beaten and no excuses, with a lot of players who weren't fit enough. But we've tried to address that in a short period of time. I feel we're on the right road. So that's where we are at the moment, and I'm sure I'll end up taking some questions off you. In the meantime, here she is, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, Afeda Kandakar. All yours.
Thanks, Peter.